Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about what I believe is the most overrated zodiac sign. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, I'm going to start out with Aries. Well, Aries is one, I don't see them as necessarily the most overrated zodiac sign. Aries is very, they could be very fearless. They're definitely not easily discouraged, very outspoken. I think people are very well aware and cognizant of these Aries abilities, and I think they earn their medal for in terms of uh, being often, the sign that will stand up for others when others will not do so, and others will cower in fear, and when Aries will really be the ones that will take charge in situations when others might be more timid and more passive, and those with less courage can. I think they earn their, I guess you could say, their praise for this, and I just don't see them as being the most overrated. Now, thing that I want to talk about, the next thing, well, Taurus would certainly be a sign I would think couldn't be the most um, overrated. If anything, Taurus I think can be undervalued. A lot of people, I think, not necessarily completely oblivious to Taurus's good, positive abilities. But the thing about it is, a lot of times Taurus is not noticed until they leave a relationship. I mean, Taurus will often stay in relationships that are detrimental to them for a protracted period, and there are ones. That often really don't get really the credit that they deserve, and people don't really notice or appreciate Taurus until they leave. They do a lot of the little things in a connection with somebody. Their loyalty, steadfastness, and trustworthiness is not something that people will always necessarily take notice, or at least appreciate strongly. So I don't think Taurus is the most overrated. Now, going to Gemini. Well, Gemini certainly, I don't think there would be overrated, because I mean, Gemini is a sign, of course, that's very versatile, very multifaceted. They can do, obviously, they could do many different things. I think Gemini earns their right to be lauded for this. They're very, I mean, Gemini's very quick thinking, of course. They're quick witted. Um, they are ones that can, the ones that are the multitaskers often of the zodiac, the ones that may often do many different things, practically simultaneously. And if anything, I mean, sometimes Gemini can be undervalued, I think, as far as it goes. They're certainly not an overrated sign, I don't think. But going to the zodiac sign Cancer, well, Cancer certainly, I mean, they're a sign. It would be hard for me to say that they're overrated, because Cancer is, I mean, they do their what they give people sometimes is show unequivocal love to others. I mean, you can't really put a price on that. That the Cancer is a sign that they are ones that really, I mean, because they could be so timid, and they're very introverted and very much to themselves. They are ones where they're not really commanding any kind of really much attention for anything they do. They have very strong general loyalty, again, unequivocal love. They can show there's a lot of nurturing energy, very sympathetic. And I think sometimes, I mean, it kind of goes unnoticed by others, because there's other people that might do things that might actually command more attention than Cancer. So it's hard for me to say that Cancer would be the most overrated of the zodiac signs. A lot of times Cancer, I think, because they could be so moody, fickle, and temperamental, their good qualities can often go unrecognized sometimes. Now, going to Leo. Well, Leo is certainly a sign that could really, they could qualify for being somewhat overrated, because I think what it is Leo, I mean, sometimes even their intellect can really appear stronger than it could be, or their abilities, because they often will flaunt whatever it is, as far as their positive attributes and their qualities. But I think, I mean, Leo is a sign, I think, though we do notice some of their negative qualities as well. Leo can be very flamboyant, ostentatious, but they're a sign too that I think a lot of people can see. You know, they can be somewhat domineering and overbearing on a negative note, but they can still qualify for being the most overrated, because I think what Leo does, they make their accomplishments appear more bigger than they actually are, because they have that ability to dramatize and enlarge upon things that they actually do. But I'll tell you at the end of the video whether I think it's them or not. Now, going to Virgo. Now, Virgo is a sign, of course, that could be very reticent, shy. If I'm saying obsequious, could be the one where they could be very inconspicuous. They often will bask in Leo's shadow. Virgo is certainly a sign that can certainly qualify for being the most underrated. Virgo could be very service oriented. They often can thrive in a subservient or subordinate role, being of help to others. And the thing about it is, I think because Virgo is so reticent, shy, and humble, a lot of that energy, I mean, certainly is one that might not, that might go somewhat unnoticed. They are it'd certainly be hard for me to say that they're the most overrated of the zodiac sign. If anything, I would say they're one of the most undervalued and underappreciated of the zodiac signs. Sometimes their meticulous attention to detail is something, they don't really, not something that they're going to boast about, but it's certainly one of their really strong positive qualities. But Virgo often is a sign that doesn't even really like accolades or wants the really the recognition for things that they do. So it's hard for me to say that they would be overrated. I think a lot of their judgmental nature kind of when people see that, a lot of times they might overlook the good qualities in Virgo. So anyway, I'm going to Libra. Well, Libra, I think, can certainly be a good candidate for the most overrated zodiac sign, because Libra has a lot of good qualities. They get a lot of praise, effusive praise, a lot of times from astrologers, and I believe I'm one of them that has done that. Libra can be, of course, very diplomatic, very equitable, very fair-minded. They often weigh a lot of the pros and cons of a situation before acting on it. They're very charming. They have very good, they're about intellectual sociability. They have a good ability to ingratiate themselves with others. But people have to remember, despite a lot of these good qualities that Libra has, they still have negative ones, like others. A lot of people see, Libra is one of the best signs of the zodiac, and I see them as that. So there is, the possibility that Libra can be the most overrated, but I'm gonna let you know at the end of the video whether I think they are or not. Now, going to Scorpio. Well, Scorpio, certainly, I don't know if Scorpio can be really overrated. I know some people may see them as that. I did a video about the strongest zodiac sign, and I think Scorpio is the strongest zodiac sign. I think there's some people that that disagree with that and think maybe Scorpio is overrated, because there's a lot of people that see them as the most strongest, the most powerful sign, given their indomitable will and spirit, and they may not think that they deserve it. But I think Scorpio deserves a lot of the props, because it's not even just about that. They have the ability to transform themselves very strongly in other people's lives. They're ones that are very powerful people, and they are about rebirth and regeneration. It is a sign that it's hard for me to say that they would be the most overrated. Their strength is, their strength of character is very powerful. They have inordinate strength of character, and again, their will may very well be unmatched. And I think I don't really see Scorpio as being the most overrated of the zodiac signs. Scorpio, they actually show their power sometimes in subtle ways. So I think sometimes that could even go, that might go unnoticed, because it's subtle sometimes with them. But anyway, going to Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius, it's hard for me to say that they would be the most, overrated. They have definitely I understand why some people might think this because they're so positive and happy-go-lucky. They're the incorrigible optimists. I mean, but I think people can see very strongly the flighty and very, the meandering qualities of Sagittarius as well. The fact they could be somewhat unreliable. They're a sign that really, to me, that they, because of their adventurous nature, they have a hard time being in stable connections with others. Hold on a moment, people. And even though Sagittarius might have a surfite and abundance of good qualities, I think people can see readily that they do have negative ones, like being foolhardy, self-righteous, even over-optimistic, being unreliable, sometimes being very tactless, and really, I mean, to the point where they can demoralize others. So I think with Sagittarius, and even Sagittarius, I mean, can be people that might really try to strongly indoctrinate others with their beliefs, whether they're actually true or not. And I don't see Sagittarius as the most overrated of the signs. Now going to Capricorn. Well, Capricorn, it'd be hard for me to say they'd be the most overrated because with Capricorn, Capricorn is a sign that can be, I mean, they're very ambitious. They're very single-minded. They do, I mean, they're very quiet people. They're often very introspective. I think when they do things that, as far as on a business level, they really, sometimes their strength of character can go unnoticed, actually, because they just kind of, they quietly move up their ladder of success. They do the things that they have to do to get where they want in life, and even despite being somewhat melancholy or very pessimistic or negative, a lot of times they still find a way to do. And I think for those reasons, Capricorn might actually be underrated, because they seem, to act like a lot of times being somewhat negative and pessimistic, that what they're doing is not enough, their accomplishments are not enough. So it's hard for me to say they'd be the most overrated of the zodiac signs. Now going to Aquarius. Well, Aquarius, if anything, they might actually be somewhat underrated, because unlike Leo, Aquarius likes to kind of blend in a group, and they often do things that can be very obsequious. They often and inconspicuous. They often like to do things, again, in group-related matters, doing things, showing selflessness, doing things where, with others, where they're not really seeking the personal recognition. I mean, but Aquarius can actually, they get their recognition in their own way by being a very good group player. And their innovative prowess is unbelievable. And but I think what it is that Aquarius is not, they're not ones to really want necessarily the spotlight or to shine, unlike Leo. Again, Aquarius is more about their group involvement. They're doing things with others, and trying in things of a collaborative nature often. So for me, and it's really about, they're doing things for the common good, for global, they're often involved in some kind of global awareness, environmental projects, which are often done with a lot of other people. So they're not ones that I would say is necessarily overrated. Now going to Pisces. Well, Pisces, I mean, is not, I would be hard pressed for me to say they'd be the most overrated. Pisces can be rather, passive, timid people, very humble. They're not ones to seek the spotlight for their accomplishments. They are ones, again, very submissive. They're often, a lot of people, Pisces people, will be involved in the in filmography. Remember, they're ruled by Neptune, which is connected with that, but they're not ones where you really see them clamoring for attention. They kind of just quietly go about whatever it is they are actually doing. They are ones that actually will stand up for others in a kind of their own quiet, subtle ways. They're people that are not, again, that are very, I mean, like Virgo, very humble. They're about self-sacrifice often. A lot of times you don't really see this so much. I mean, Pisces energy may sometimes, I mean, they're good, I think, can sometimes go overlooked because Pisces kind of like remember that they're connected with the 12th house of behind the scenes. They're ones that might want to do something maybe anonymously or do something in a way where maybe it may actually be set up where it goes unnoticed. So I think for those reasons, I don't see Pisces as the most overrated. Now, last but not least, I'm going to I want to tell the sign that I think is the most overrated. I think can actually be I'm gonna go with Libra because I had somebody write me one time and she made a good point. She says, I don't remember exact words, that Libra seems to get effusive praise, and they seem to get a lot of positive feedback, and there's astrologers maybe giving them too much credit. And I think that could be a possibility. I do think Libra could very well be the best zodiac sign because they're so balanced, and they are ones that are very equitable, fair-minded, and distribute their energy, I think, very evenly on matters, and have a very even temperament and disposition. But the thing about Libra is I see them as being the most overrated because I think this often overshadows their negative qualities. Sometimes Libra will have a superficial charm, and they could be so charming and engaging that you might almost be oblivious to any negative qualities or anything, any negative attributes or characteristics they may have. Remember, Libra does have negative ones just like we all do. They could be very ambivalent, indecisive. They could be weighing pros and cons for a very extensive period before making a decision, even if they actually do. Often Libra will actually ingratiate themselves with others just to move up their social ladder, just to get just for those reasons. And again, we go back to the superficial charm with Libra, and they are ones sometimes, though, I think they'll put on their superficial charm just so they can so others will not really see the negative what they're doing. It's kind of like they can do something maybe negative, but do it with kind of a smile on the face and not do it necessarily in a mean manner. And I think in a way that would actually be more hurtful to somebody, but they can still at the same time still do those things to others. And I think, for those reasons, and also remember that Libra can be a relationship disruptor and a negative manifestation, given that they are the sign associated with it. They can bring people together, they can reconcile situations, but they also can, in a negative manifestation, can also disrupt and eradicate relationships. They have the uncanny ability to do that if they are scorned. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment, and until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.